Over the past decade, social media has taken society's views to different extremes relative to their use of apps. Our younger generations have grown up in a time where everyone in the world is seamlessly connected at the same time, which is an explanation to the core root of our problems we experience now. Snapchat has exploded in the past 5 years, not only as a social media medium, but as a way to communicate teen to teen, and to a parent who has to decode in order to understand a social cue behind a snap. Snapchat is an alien-like app. From the spring of 2015 to the fall of 2018, Snapchat use among teens has grown from 11% all the way up to nearly 46%, as the desire for different ways to communicate continued to grow among our youngest generations. So what's the problem in this, you might ask? It's not necessarily the way Snapchat allows for communication and displaying content. It's how teens are using this to contribute to an unstable society of insecurity and depression. The possibilities of both synchronous and asynchronous communication creates an atmosphere of mental warfare in a teenager's head from certain scenarios like, why haven't they replied to my snap? It's been like an hour. Or, they haven't viewed my story yet. Does that mean they don't care what I'm doing? According to Marwick and Boyd, these social cues represent social steganography, as not responding to someone means you have no intention of talking to them, providing hidden content in plain sight. Teens are continuously becoming more insecure as our face-to-face interactions decrease, not only because you can hide your face behind a screen, but because you can completely change your image and communication through something such as a Snapchat. Snapchat, compared to other social media platforms, has influenced countless decisions such as the story feature on Instagram and Facebook, but also has been influenced by Twitter, with the likes of limited characters, but instead limited viewing time. We talked about how 46% of teens use Snapchat every day, and to add on to that, according to the School of Psychology at the University of Glasgow, those who were emotionally invested in social media experienced poorer sleep quality, low self-esteem, and higher levels of anxiety and depression. To fully understand the problem in particular with Snapchat, we have to go back to 2011 when Snapchat was first created. The intentional use was simply an app to send pictures back and forth and view for a limited time. Fast forward to now 8 years, Snapchat has developed and adapted with the growing demand for a more versatile communication system that allows for interactivity among its user base. As much as it's helpful to stay connected, our younger generation is becoming increasingly influenced by the demand for attention and likes and views our pictures get, such as Instagram and Twitter, but Snapchat is different.
So Snapchat is known as a platform for kids to share anything and sometimes everything with their friends without worrying about likes and dislikes.
Snapchat is a different breed, in the sense that the attention comes with an imagined face-to-face interaction. Teens are not fully understanding the long-term consequences that Snapchat imposes later on with their social ability and mental health. But to be fair, a teen understanding the long-term consequences of anything doesn't come first in their mind. As the mobility and reach of these platforms continuously grow, we may find a way as a society to outgrow Snapchat. However, that's highly unlikely. Many social media apps popularized in the last decade, such as Snapchat, have maintained a steady retention rate or slight loss amongst users, and it's no surprise with the rate that our tech and developmental departments continue to innovate. There could be a point in time where face-to-face interactions become less important than imagined ones. Teenagers are growing up in one of the fastest developing generations in history, and it's no surprise that the developmental rate continues to grow. It is important that we keep in check the mental stress that apps like Snapchat cause on our youth and ensure it doesn't consume us as much as we predicted in the near future. Snapchat applies to the theory of appropriation. This is the idea of taking technology and making it your own. Originally, Snapchat was intended for sending a picture to a friend that would eventually vanish. Now, Snapchat can be used to maintain a friendship, savor memories, or even call and FaceTime people. Snapchat users open their phones 20 times a day and spend nearly 30 minutes on the app. And as a society, we produce nearly 3 billion snaps daily. The numbers continue to get worse and more dangerous than they sound. It can be restricted. Parents need to step in and continue to foster their teens to become more socially inclined and diverse. Friendships, relationships, and first impressions should not be parasocial interactions. They should be face-to-face.